Again, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the fourth of 9 total courses that we are running for the Lions Virtual Academy on Servant Leadership Certification. I am Lyon Jody Burmester, and along with Lyon Winster Ceballos, I'm going to be one of your MCs today. These sessions on servant leadership and Serve to Lead are being brought to you and led by Vice President AP Singh and PID Sangeeta Jatia. And they're really designed to help us all understand and explore the concepts of servant leadership. Some of it's natural for us, some of it's not. So it's important that we take a look at what it is we are doing and how we're doing it. You know, I mentioned that this is the fourth of 9 sessions that we've got going on for Serve to Lead, Lead to Serve. If you want to catch up on past sessions, I'm dropping the link in right now for you to be able to find those. Those past sessions can be found on the Lions Virtual YouTube channel, where you'll be able to view the recording and then come in and answer the questions in the reflection, and then eventually be able to download your certificate if you complete the reflections. A couple of housekeeping issues. Number one, you all will remain muted during the main session and be unmuted during the breakout rooms. So if you have questions during this main session, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll answer them as time allows. Then one other housekeeping issue before we get started, and that's to look for an email next week from Lions Virtual with the recording from today's session, along with that reflection questions that we'll be asking for you to complete. And then once you complete those reflection questions, you're going to be able to download a certificate of completion for this session as well. So next week, you're going to get an email. You're going to be muted for the majority of this call. And that's the housekeeping we've got today. So with that, it's time that we take the opportunity to hear from some of our amazing Lion leaders with their thoughts on the roles and responsibility that plays into servant leadership, and hearing from sitting Second International Vice President, Third International Vice President, along with the past president. So with that, here we go. Enjoy.
Thank you so much, Jody and Daniel, and the entire team of Lions Virtual. Changing the world as we serve with pride is today's theme of discussion, the first of our 3-part series of this Lions year. Many of you were on the journey last year as together we explored the tenets of servant leadership. As we walk the path together this year and the next, the ones who join every discussion, we promise a face-to-face with the then first Vice President at Mexico City. Lead to Serve with Pride is so very relevant to the concept of servant leadership as we strive to change the world. As the work of organizations like the Lions becomes increasingly focused on strategic initiatives, a great deal of effort has been placed on getting the message out about the good that we do in the society we serve. Not only do we hire specialists as our communication consultants or build teams within the organization, which is focused on getting the word out. Why are they needed? Because to communicate, it is important that we listen. It is important that we follow the language in vogue today, and to remain relevant and contemporary, we need to listen. They formulate the right questions for us to get the correct picture. They help us evaluate our strategies. And once we do that, then we can embark on changing the world. Open dialogue with not only those whom we lead, but also those whom we serve is equally important. Our responsibility goes even further. We as Lions need to amplify the voice of those who are unheard within society. We need to make sure that as we reach a consensus, we are inclusive of the voices that are often lost. Vice President AP Singh discusses the relevance of servant leadership as we answer the call of our International President of changing the world and, of course, of Mission 1.5.
Hello, my dear friends from all around the world. Welcome to the first session in this series during the year 2023-24. We've been having these sessions on the theme of lead to serve, serve to lead. When we are members of our association and we proudly wear the Lions lapel pin, it's essentially to serve. And it is through service that we provide the leadership. And the leadership is provided with the only express purpose of serving our communities. Basically, leadership and service is the same thing. They merge together. They are just two sides of the same coin in our association. Our international president this year, Dr. Patty Hill, inspires us to change the world. And when we start talking of changing the world, the change must essentially start with oneself, start with me, start with you. And when we talk of changing oneself, it starts with changing what's happening in our own club. We need to understand what our club is doing, whether the service that our club is performing, that our club is rendering to the communities, whether that is relevant today. We need to introspect. Change requires introspection. Servant leadership always requires introspection, because servant leadership is leadership with humility. It is leadership for empowering others. It is leadership for a purpose. And if that purpose has to be accomplished, then we need to make sure that the service that we are providing is truly what is expected and what is required by our communities. We need to go out and ask members in our communities, people whom we serve, people whom we work with, all stakeholders, whether this is exactly that they would expect from a Lions Club. And then we come back to our club and then we discuss what can we do to continue to stay relevant. Our clubs may have existed for a long period of time, maybe 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, even 60 or 70 years in some parts of the world. And we need to calibrate from time to time regularly to ensure that our service is really what is needed today. Something could have been very relevant maybe 5 or 10 years ago, and definitely maybe 20 years ago. But is that relevant today? And then the process of change goes on with that introspection, trying to find out how do we tweak? What do we need to do differently? How do we need to approach this process of change? At what pace is the change required? And once we do that, we become a more relevant organization. We owe it as leaders of our organization, as members of our organization, in the principles of servant leadership, we owe it to our association, to our clubs, to our organization, to do all that is required to make sure that our organization stays relevant. It is only then that we would be able to go out to our communities and ask the others, would you not like to become a part of a Lions Club? Would you not like to join our association? And more so in an era of Mission 1.5, where all of us are committed to grow the organization, to grow it to 1.5 million members. We need to make sure, first of all, that we have all that it takes to attract, to draw in the members of our community. Are we really community friendly? Are we really answering the needs of our communities? Are we youth friendly? Are we women friendly? Are we more in sync with what the modern times require? If we are there, then there would be no issues in drawing new members to our clubs, in growing our association, in adding more muscle to our association so that our service can be provided more impactfully and more effectively. Let's continue our great work the way we are doing as Lions. Let's be proud of the fact that we are Lions, and let's continue to grow our association.
Well said, Vice President AP. Our clarion call this year is changing the world, and together with pride, we will do so. Our international third Vice President, Mark Lyon, was elected to serve in this office in the association's 106th International Convention in Boston. In this next segment, he is in conversation with Vice President AP, as together they will be working to reach our goal and our mission.
Vice President Mark, thank you for taking out your time and agreeing to join us on this online program that we have on the Servant Leadership series. Servant leadership emphasizes serving others before ourselves. And this is an important principle. This is something that we all live by in our organization. How do you see this principle aligning with the mission of Lions Clubs International as Lions continue to serve their communities?
Thank you for having me, Vice President AP. You know, I think that when we talk about servant leadership, we have to think that it's very foundational to our very being as an association. I think that it's a core value that we have to continue to focus on and promote. Our mission is to empower our Lions and our clubs and our partners to serve humanity in the way we do. And I think that, you know, if you look at the elements of servant leadership, you know, dealing with empathy and stewardship and listening skills and enabling people to do things, I think that it, again, is just at the very core of what we do as Lions.
Thank you. Collaboration and teamwork are extremely important for the success of the Lions in whatever they do. Can you share some examples that you may have noted in your club or in your district where successful collaboration and teamwork would have really helped in multiplying the results?
I can think of two very, very specific instances that happened in my multiple district just very recently. Number one, we had a Lion in one of our districts who wanted to provide reading materials, books for elementary schools and middle schools, and wanted to focus on Martin Luther King. And Martin Luther King book drive. And that event took off across our state with multiple clubs taking on that initiative, with buying books for local libraries and providing them with resources for young people of color that they probably did not have in their inventory. It was a very unique project and one that we've continued for 3 years now. The other opportunity was at our multiple district convention just last year. The competition amongst our clubs and our districts to have a pajama collection effort to give to the homeless shelters and social services offices in our local towns. And we collected thousands of pairs of pajamas, and the local agencies were overwhelmed with the generosity from our Lions. But it was good, healthy, collaborative initiative as well.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this. Some of them are such simple things to do, but when we do it and we do it sincerely, the results are simply fantastic.
Could not agree with you more.
Servant leadership is about leading by example. Can you share some of your experiences where what you did or what you inspired others to do really made a difference in the way the clubs or the district worked?
I think it's a challenge to know that the efforts that I made had a difference, but I do have an initiative that I know we've worked on recently in our multiple district once again, where we were trying to promote an advocacy day with our state capital, with our elected leadership there. It took on various forms during the COVID years. We had to postpone it several times, and we kept pursuing this project because we knew how important it was. And the leadership that I was able to provide really dealt with focusing on the importance of our Lions advocacy programs and how important it was to get down to the local level. And we were very pleased and proud to hold our first in-person advocacy day in our home state just this past spring.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that experience. As Lions International continues to evolve, how do you see or what do you perceive to be the role of technology in taking forward our mission of service?
I think we're coming up with new ways every day. I think that the recent global pandemic caused our Lions to want to think a little bit more outside the box, and technology that was already there became very, very important for our clubs through the use of not just social media, but also using avenues of online meetings, virtual conventions. That became the norm, the standard. And as we've come out of the pandemic and clubs and districts and multiple districts are gathering together in person, I think we'll continue to see a vital role played by technology in how we share and communicate with each other. I also think that that there may be new ways to conduct projects virtually across larger geographic areas, and we can share and communicate the successes and the online presence or the active in the moment presence with each other to encourage each other to perform even greater service.
Thank you from the bottom of our heart, Vice President Mark, for sharing your experiences with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
That was awesome, our vice presidents. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Leading by example is the key. Here, Vice President Singh, as he elaborates on the same and believes that walking the talk is all important for a servant leader.
So friends, everything that we do in our association, teamwork and collaboration always holds the key. And together with that, the catchword is lead by example. We all know so many things that are good for the organization. We go and tell our members, do this, do this, do this way, do it that way. And this is all good stuff, good information that we are providing to our members. But the important question is, are we doing the same thing? Are we leading by example? Whether as a club president, as a club secretary, as a zone chair, region chair, district governor, or for that matter, any position that we may enjoy in this organization, or for that matter, even if we are just a good lion, the question always remains, are we leading by example? When we go out to ask others to join our club and say that we are the world's largest service club organization, the most important question is, does that member of the community relate to us as assisting a particular service activity that the community really needs? Does that individual really believe that as a person, you and I are providing that need-based service to the community? We may be saying so many things are good, so many things are needed by the community, and we could do it, but that would just be open talk. That would not make an impact. But if we can demonstrate that, see, this is what we are doing. This is what we do in our club. This is what our club does. This is how our members come together. And this is how we try to make a difference in the world. We try to make the world a slightly better place than what it has been before. And if we can demonstrate that, that is what really makes the difference. That is what leadership by example is. Whether it's members in our club or whether it's members in the community, everybody believes an individual whom they see is walking the talk, whom they see is actually doing what that individual is talking about. It's always easy to talk. It's always easy to preach, but it's more important to live by those principles that one is generally talking of, or as we may say, that one is preaching. So friends, and when we do that, the most important thing there is to be able to collaborate, to be able to build a team, to bring people together, because this is a people's organization. This is not an organization where we work just by ourselves in a solitary manner. This is not a platform for that. This is a platform where we carry everybody together. And when we talk of everybody, there could be individuals with different capabilities, with different capacities, individuals coming from different backgrounds, different ethnic backgrounds too, and maybe different age groups, different technical qualifications, different economic strata, could be anything. But the essential part is, do they have the heart of a lion? If they have the heart of a lion, they are a part of our organization, and we need to collaborate with them. We need to take everybody together. Everybody would have some challenges. Everybody would have some strengths. We need to understand and appreciate the challenges of each other. We need to appreciate the strengths of each other and be able to build on those strengths so that together we can serve and serve more effectively and serve more impactfully, as I have always been saying. When we wear this Lion's label pin, it's basically a declaration to the world at large that we are responsible citizens of our own countries. We may come from any country, in any part of the world, but when we say that we are responsible citizens of our own countries, the message that we send out is that our care and concern does not begin and end with our biological families alone. Our care and concern goes out much beyond that. So, friend, it's with that particular approach that we go out to serve, that we go out to draw more members in our organization. Drawing more members in our organization is extremely important. You and I are proud of what we are doing. You and I are proud of what our clubs are doing. You and I are proud of the legacy of service in this organization. But then, who will keep it going? Who will keep it going after we are no more? Who will keep it going maybe 5, 10, 15 years later? Who will keep it going maybe even in the next year? Who will give us the new ideas, the new thoughts, the new contacts? I mean, we need more and more new members in our organization to continue to stay the #1 service organization of the world. We need to be serving our communities, but we also need to be serving our organization. Our association today needs this from you. We need you to go out and invite more like-minded individuals who could be part of our organization. And in doing that, you need to show the way. You need to lead and lead by example, my dear friends. Mission 1.5, about which you'll keep hearing for the next few years in our organization, is no rocket science. It's just a commitment of every Lion in the world that we are the most relevant service club organization today. And we will continue to maintain that spot. And to be able to do so, we will draw in more and more members in our organization. And we need to do it together.
Thank you, AP. We have for you a conversation now with past International President Joe Preston, who served our association in the year 2014-15 as the president. Strengthen the Pride was his call to action. As you would remember, he continues to inspire us even today. Let us hear what he has to share as he converses with Vice President AP.
Thank you for your time, Past President Preston. When you were the president of the association, Strengthen the Pride was your theme. And today, as we work for Mission 1.5, it's so relevant even today. What made you choose this theme?
I wanted something that the Lions could understand. And Strengthen the Pride actually had two meanings. First, to strengthen the family of Lions, because a pride of Lions is that's what we are. And so if we could get everybody involved, men, women, young and old, all working together in the same direction. And it's also to really be proud of the accomplishments, all the good things we do, all the humanitarian efforts. And that's what it was. And I think it was successful at doing that.
Thank you. Thank you for that, that input. Thank you for that insight, rather. And building partnerships and working with those partnerships has been the key in terms of making an impact that truly lasts through our service activities. Can you share your experience with us about one partnership which you think has really made a difference in the way and to the extent that the Lions serve?
Thank you, Vice President AP. Partnerships have been so important to Lions. In fact, if you look at the growth of the number of people that we're able to serve, it's mainly due to our partnerships that we have with others, sharing resources and working together. You can do it at the local level, and you can do it at the international level. Internationally, I was thinking about our partnership with the Carter Center. We've been able to go into developing countries and really make a difference in eradicating preventable blindness and really make a difference. It's had a chance to go on a mission trip with the Carter Center into the Amhara region of Ethiopia. And in a 2-week period of time, we distributed some 13 million doses of medicine to prevent trachoma from happening. And the reason it was so successful is because it was very good. Every family has been affected by trachoma in that part of the region of the world. And so everybody wanted to line up and get their doses. It was really a miracle. And it was because of Lions working together with other partners, the Carter Center, not only that, Pfizer Corporation provided the medicine. They had a supplier that brought the medicine from Europe at no cost, all working together. The Lions of Ethiopia played a huge role. That's what you call about a partnership making a difference.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that experience. There may be wonderful activities, and we read reports about them. Reading reports and having someone like you share an experience are totally different things. And the way that's made an impact on you, and the way you narrated the entire, the program it was conducted, and the kind of impact it would have made, it really touches one's heart. Thank you very much, Past President Preston. And please allow me to ask you one more question. As we strive to change the world, we are definitely faced with so many challenges. It's not always easy. What is your message to the lions of the world to continue with their perseverance, with their resilience, despite the challenges that we may continue to face?
I guess, first of all, we have to be prepared for challenges. They're going to be coming up. So if you're mentally prepared for it, it helps you to address it in a positive fashion. But I think when you talk about servant leadership, you're talking about really the heart of Lions. Now you're not talking about your ego or what you're trying to accomplish for other. I think it's really getting to serving people. And the more we stay focused on that, when we have challenges, whether it be in our clubs or our districts or this and that, if you stay focused on what you're really trying to accomplish, you can do great things.
Thank you, Past President Preston. And now that you mentioned that those two words which are so important to me, servant leadership, I remember when you assumed office as the international president, your acceptance speech had some sentence, something of the nature that it's not about ascending to the top. It's about descending right below with the lions to the bottom of the pyramid to be able to serve with lions. That was pure 24-karat message for servant leadership. How do you narrate it, or how do you say that it would always be relevant for the Lions, more so even today?
I think that anybody that's in a leadership position should be striving to really connect with the people that are trying, the people you're serving, the people that you're working with. And the more you can do that, the more effective you're going to be.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your insights. And I'm sure your words will continue to inspire Lions in all parts of the world.
Thank you so much, Past President Joe. Working in a team, consensus building, empowering others, listening to others are traits of servant leadership. Let us hear Vice President Singh as he elaborates on this.
Friends, when we work in our clubs, it's not about what I believe the club should be doing. It's about what we, the members of the club, believe that the club should be doing. There would be somebody who'd be a club president. There would be some influential members, some past presidents, some opinion makers in the club. But ultimately, it's got to be the decision of the club. If that ownership of the decision is there, then the programs and the plans of the club would succeed. If it's at the district level, it's not what just the district governor wishes that the district should be doing or the district should be accepting as a goal of a particular year. It's got to be the district's goal. And similarly, at the Lions international level, it's not what one officer or a group of officers want. It's about hearing the voices, hearing the requests, hearing the feedback from the Lions across the world, that the officers come together to develop the way forward for this organization. Servant leadership is about empowering others. Servant leadership is about taking others together. Servant leadership is about respecting the views of others, regarding and giving it the due cognizance, the due appreciation that all views require. We may not concur on the same opinion. We may not have the same way of looking at the things, but we need to understand that different individuals will look at the same issues differently. There would be different perspectives. To be able to appreciate those perspectives and then to be able to build the consensus is what leadership in our organization is all about. And that is what it takes to build a collaborative team. Because when there's a collaborative team, when everybody believes that he or she has been heard, and whatever decisions have been arrived at by individuals coming together, having heard everybody, and then believing that this is particularly the way or the path forward, then there would be ownership of those goals, whether it's at the club level, the district level, or the Lions international level. And that's where success will lie. Usually, sometimes we find that there are some people, some individuals who are so forceful, and they could present their views in a much forceful manner. Perhaps they are better communicators, they know to use the words better, they can make better presentations, they may even be wearing a badge, occupying a high office, thus trying to quieten down the others. Now that's not the best thing to do. In our organization, it is the ability to listen to what everybody is saying, sometimes to even be able to listen to the sounds of silence when people just go back in their shell and do not make a response, do not provide a feedback. What is it? Is it indifference? Is it their strong belief that they do not agree with what you and I may be saying? Or is it that we have just tried to impress them in such a manner that they really do not wish to participate in the deliberations of the discussion? None of these are acceptable things. We need to have our friends come out and discuss. We need to build that ownership of decision. We need everybody's participation. This is everybody's organization. And that's what we mean by empowering others, by involving and engaging others. If we involve and engage our members in the plans and programs, they will actually get involved and engaged with the activities of the club. We cannot be expecting that we dictate what the others do and then they get involved with the activities of the club. That's not what's going to happen. That never happens. If the Lions have been involved right from the planning stage, if they've been heard, even if what they say or everybody says, everybody's views cannot perhaps be incorporated in the final plan. And that's understandable. And people will understand it. Our members would also understand it. But have we made that effort to first draw them in, to listen to them, even if we believe what they're saying is a revolutionary or a very different idea? And sometimes these revolutionary or very different ideas, or some ideas that we perhaps may even refer to as ridiculous, may ultimately be the ideas for the future. And that's important. That is what servant leadership is all about. Today, perhaps we need the youngsters to come and talk to us about using artificial intelligence in our clubs. If you ask individuals my age, if you ask people like us who've been here for so many decades, we have so much of emotional equity invested in the way we've been doing things. But the way things are going to be done in the future, and that's about changing the world, we can't change the world if we are not keeping pace with the way the world is changing. We can't be left behind and then we say that we are going to be those change agents for the world or the change agents even for our own organization. And if we have to keep pace, we must listen to the youngsters. We must listen sometimes or many times to the newer members who've come in, who are coming in with that freshness of thought, who are coming in without having those ideas tied to what we've been doing in the past. That is extremely important. We need to grow our organization. We are in an era of Mission 1.5, and Mission 1.5 is not the responsibility of only the leadership in this organization. Mission 1.5 is the responsibility of every Lion in this organization. Each one of us goes out and spreads the word of what the Lions are doing, what the clubs are doing, and then tries to draw in more members, then tries to work for club extension. And the leaders, those of us who occupy certain offices, must lead by example. This will inspire others to also participate in the process of growing our association. It's all about getting more and more individuals as a part of the team, as a part of that collaborative team where they believe they are respected. They are respected for what they are. Their views are respected. And together, we come together so that we can really make a difference in the world.
Thank you so much. Wasn't that so insightful? Thank you, Jody and Daniel, for putting this together. And I give it back to you to take this session forward.
Wow. You know, PID Sangeeta said it very well. The inspiration that was shared by VP AP and VP Mark and PIP Joe, so many amazing pieces of servant leadership comments in there. And especially at the end there, when Vice President AP was talking about remaining relevant and how do we bring together this concept of servant leadership, remaining relevant, bringing new people in that are going to grasp and share with us what is artificial intelligence, how might we use it, all those new concepts that we're not comfortable with, but we have to learn to embrace to be able to move forward. So this takes us to a breakout room. And for those of you who have been with us before, you're going to recognize this. We like to give you an opportunity to share your thoughts on all that great leadership content that was just shared by some of our association's best and brightest leaders. So we're going to send you into a breakout room for 20 minutes. When it's your turn, you are going to share your name and where you're logging in from today, along with your thoughts on this very important question about what can we do to remain relevant to our members and relevant to our communities. Most of your rooms have a moderator assigned that are going to help you guide the discussion. If you don't have a moderator in your room, please have someone volunteer so that person can be available to help keep you on track with time and make sure everyone gets a chance to speak. And last but not least with this, don't forget to take a group photo and post on your social media, helping to expand our thoughts and our sharing of what servant leadership is all about. So you're going to have 20 minutes to share your thoughts on what we can do to remain relevant to our members and our community. Sending you off now. Have a great chat. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Everyone should be back here in just a moment, and we will get started back around with this to hear a little bit more about what you all shared in the breakout room discussions. Let me call a couple of our moderators to the room, in with me. I'm really struggling this morning. Apologies. One pot of coffee was apparently not enough today. So let me get Renata. We've got Dawn and Julian. If Julian's got a stable connection, let's have Julian join us. And, you know, I know you guys just had some great discussions. It's such an important topic about how do we remain relevant. Dawn, can you give us a little recap of what went on in your breakout room? Whoops. Sorry, Dawn, I apologize.
You weren't letting me speak. Oh, we had a great room. We had India, we had New York, Massachusetts, the UK. We really spoke a lot on that connection with your community and a connection with your members, speaking to the passions of your members and their hearts, as well as your community, and getting in members and allowing them to express what they would like to have happen, and supplying them with the ability to do that, and by that, and adding to that, allowing them to lead and take leadership of the programs that they're passionate about. We also had a great discussion of a project going on in Mumbai where they're educating local students of need. And, you know, there's no greater way to impact the future and remain essential than to provide education. And they're emphasizing for some of the women and young girls. And so they know it's starting small, but they're building their future and what an impact they're going to have. So not only now, but in the future, they're really looking forward. We had a brief conversation on artificial intelligence, but felt that it might be a helpful tool, but we're liking the warm fuzzy and personal touch. So we're on the fence. We're waiting to hear. Thank you.
That's awesome, Dawn. I did forget to mention, if anyone would like to drop in more ideas in the chat than what we're recapping now to share with everyone, that'd be phenomenal. Dawn, thank you. How cool. And that whole AI thing, artificial intelligence thing, is coming. And it's a question of us figuring out how to use it and how to use it to our advantage to improve our messaging, maybe is a good way to look at it. Awesome. Renata, how about what was going on in your breakout room?
Oh, mine was good too and was very lively, and I liked it a lot. So listen to the participants, and they were from Europe, from South America, from North America, and and from India. And so it was kind of all over the world. And to bring it together, it's about listening. So is very important, and to involve the younger ones, not only in age, also the new members, not going always the old ways because they are easier or it's standardized. So please know what your community and your members want. And the last one, I have to look at my little somethings here. No, I'm not ready, please. Sorry, my grandchildren are with me. So it's about being always action focused. So you have to serve means it has to be, now I round it up, it's to be visible. So now my head is more there, and I hope that.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
You know, Renata, one of the things you said about projects really struck me, and I think it's something we all should be aware of. As we're looking to and be more inclusive and include a younger generation or someone different than ourselves, I think it's important we assess our projects and determine if those projects are meeting that community, part of our community's needs. And if we don't have a project in that area, reach out to those potential partners and say, how can we help? What project would you like to take on, and invite them in to join us so that we can learn from them and they can learn from us. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I would like to add one thing, because I think that's important too. One PDG from Greece, Cyprus said it's also about educating our officers. He says GMA and the Global Action Team is very, very important. They have specific ways to approach it, but maybe that's another session. So.
Love it. The global membership approach, this whole mission 1.5, trying to reach 1.5 million members and serve 1 billion people, is going to be a huge impact that we really need our servant leaders for. Thanks, Renata. Hey, Julian, what's up from your rooms?
Thank you very much, Lyon, Judy. Yes, we had a very interesting discussion. I had about 6 persons, but we were diverse. We were from India, South Africa, we were from Europe, and the Caribbean, and also New York. Basically, what transpired there is that the words were, for us to be relevant and to be serving, is that we should be visible. We should be visible when we do work outside or wherever we go. And it all starts with us, the individual. If you can lead the way, there are persons, if you decide to mentor, they may not want to, but if they see that you're modeling the way, then we go from there. We spoke about 1.5, and also we spoke about challenges. There's one of our members from Michigan. She has challenges because physically she cannot go out, but guess what? She's the communication specialist for her group, and she calls people. She does need some help for some of our very senior members that aren't able to do the technology stuff. And also from one of our members from South Africa, she mentioned that we need to keep up with the digital age, because if we don't, we'll be left behind. And like our international president, Dr. Patty, says, changing the world, but we have to grab the coattail and follow and just march forward. So basically, that was our conversation there. Excellent conversation. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you to all 3 of you. You know, I'm going to go back to that artificial intelligence thing for a moment and just let you all know, you can go to GPT and go ahead and type in, how can I promote my Lions Club? And you don't have to use exactly what it says, but it'll give you some ideas on how you might want to be able to promote and things you may or may not have thought of. With that, I am going to turn this over. Thank you to the 3 moderators and all our moderators for volunteering to lead the rooms today. We really appreciate it, and thanks for your recaps. All right, Winster, I am going to turn it over to you, and it's up to you, my friend.
Okay, good morning, everybody. And it's great to see you all here. So, what else? Anything else that we need to discuss from our moderators? Anything else that we would like to share?
Nope, Winster, I think you just need to wrap us up, my friend.
Oh, great. Even better. So, basically, watch for the next email that you're going to be receiving next week. It's going to include the recording for this session today. And also, it will be asking you for some reflection questions. Our next meet is on, as soon as I can find the information here, it's Lead to Serve number 5. And that will be held in, if I'm not mistaken, in October, right, Kim? Can you help me out with the date?
November.
Yes, it is.
November.
Just let me pull that. I just sent it out to a bunch of people. Give me 1 second and go on to the next event.
Give me a second, guys.
But I did accidentally email people the moderators the wrong link this morning. So just 1 second. I'll give you the date.
It is Saturday, November the 18th, Winster.
Thank you so much, Stu. So November the 18th, we will have our next session. Again, you will receive the registration link on the email coming up to you this upcoming week. And without further ado, I believe that that's a wrap. Moderators, any final comment before we adjourn?
I just wanted to, sorry. Oh. No, go, Don.
Kim and then Don. Kim, go ahead.
I was just going to say the Lions of Canada are doing a marketing webinar in a couple weeks, and we are going to have a focus. One of the areas will be AI. So, you know, if that's something that you folks at some point would like to either join us or something that you'd be interested in, just let us know.
And that is something that is going to be, it is important these days now. Believe it or not, Jody was mentioning to it, but you can just go and play around with ChatGPT these days. And I started playing the other day, just a couple of things. And it's just amazing the work that you do. Of course, double check always. Don't do a copy and paste and send to whatever ChatGPT give you. But it's just amazing the way that you can get well redacted communication to your clubs to make something different, to have something different. But that is a great event. Kim, probably you send that information to Jody. We can share it also in the email that's going out this week. Don? You wanted to say something? Oh, hold on. Sorry.
So we did have a question. So when these are recorded, does it capture the chat? Because there's a lot of great stuff in the chat. So can you answer that question?
Jody will get a log for the chat, so we can definitely make that a song of that available if needed.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, and I finally found what I lost a few minutes ago. I'm gonna share my screen for a minute here to show you the information for our next session, as long as this thing decided to work. I'm sorry, I'm just working on a new computer. My old computer crashed, so we are trying to make things work here today. Okay, so this is the next session, Lead to Serve. Section number 5 is on Saturday, November 18th. Thank you, Stu, for the right date. Same time, 9 a.m. Central Time, 7:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. You have the link there for registration, or you can just go on and scan the QR code. So again, remember, November 18th is our next meet. Same time, same location. Just make sure you register ahead of time, please, so we can have everything set up right for you. I am putting the link for the registration in the chat, so you can go ahead and register right now if you want. And anything else from my moderators? If you have anything else, please do. Let me stop sharing. I'm gonna leave that screen there. If not, I would like to thank everybody for attending today's section. I was listening for a little bit and it was great conversations throughout the day. Kim, Julian, Don, thank you so much for moderating today's session. Everybody else, again, thank you so much. And we'll see you on November 18th. Have a great rest of the day.